Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Mic'd Podcast. I'm Mike, a hairdresser of over 20 years. One of the best parts of my job is the conversations that I get to have with all of my clients. We talk about anything and everything and invite you to listen in as we get mic'd up for today's conversation. Today in the chair we have Brashay. Brashay is a 30-year-old hairstylist who gets a lot of looks in Utah for not fitting the normal mold. We talked to her about her tattoos and her body modifications and the beauty of her look when so many people just seem to stare and stare. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sitting in the chair with me.
Thanks for inviting me to
I'm really excited to talk to you because I don't even know. I was trying to think back of like how long ago has it been? When did you start working at the salon?
2016 or 17 is when I started.
Okay.
Here.
So it's been 7 years, 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. It's funny, like when I started doing this project, I was like, okay, I wanted to talk to Brashay for a few different reasons because I was guilty of placing a judgment when I first met you. Mm-hmm. And I've really tried over the years to not be that person. But when I first met you, I mean, and you weren't even tatted up to that much, but I think in Utah and just being raised the way that I was raised, I was always taught, like, if somebody looks different, there's something wrong, or there's something that's off, or there's, being raised LDS, it was like, I was raised my whole life, don't get tattoos, don't get piercings, don't get this, don't get that. So when I saw somebody that had that, I was like, there was this moment of, she must do drugs or something. It was just something stupid. But as I've gotten to know you and I've gotten to know who you are, it's one of those really crowning moments in my life of never judge a book by its cover, because you are truly, and your husband are truly one of the most kind couples, kind people that I know. Like, you really would do anything for anyone. When I've gotten to sit and talk with you and work next to you all these years, you're the best. Like,
thank you.
So that initial shock of like, she does drugs, was changed. And so I really wanted to talk to you today about like, how do you navigate being here in Utah, having and looking different than the majority of the people that are here? Because Utah is very much, I'm not saying that everybody's the same, but there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, our culture definitely doesn't have a huge space for a heavily tattooed, modified person.
Modified, that's the right.
It's definitely getting better in Utah, I think, as more people are coming into Utah that have tattoos and things like that. When I first started doing hair, I obviously didn't have very many tattoos. I was super young. But as I got more tattoos, I did notice that as they became visible, because I started on like my upper arms and back and stuff, and so it was always covered by clothing. But as I like creeped down my arms, I vividly remember a specific client seeing my first visible tattoo, and then she never came back. And I don't know if it was because of the tattoo or because I had done something she didn't like on her hair.
So, I mean, I guess my where did it start for you? Like, you started with tattoos. Yeah. Obviously. So was it always something that you had wanted to get a tattoo? Like, was it?
No, I remember as a child, because I was raised LDS. So I remember as a child, I remember the first person I saw with a tattoo that I remember anyway. I mean, I'm sure I saw more people, but this one sticks out in my mind, was my dad worked at a Boy Scout camp down in Moab, and there was a rock climbing instructor, and he had this dragon tattoo on his arm. And I remember asking my dad, is he a bad guy?
Really?
You know? And so, like, I didn't grow up being like, oh, I want to be tattooed or have gauged ears, or, you know, like seeing the Ripley Believe It or Not guy that was like a lizard, you know. I was like, what the crap is wrong with that person, you know? And so I don't know where in my life it turned where I was like, oh, that's cool. But as soon as I could get a tattoo, I got one.
So what was your first tattoo experience then? Like, was it like, it wasn't like, I've heard stories about people who are like, yeah, me and my friends got the needle and the ink, and we, like, where did you go for your first tattoo?
My first tattoo I got down in Payson at Body and Soul Tattoo, and my older brother paid for it for my graduation present from high school.
And what was it?
It says, it's on my hips, and one side is a star made out of music notes, and the other says music.
Okay.
And it's so dumb, but it's crooked. But
what was was that significant? See, here's the thing I've loved now that I've gotten to know more and more people that have tattoos. Every tattoo has a story.
Right.
And every tattoo has a meaning. So I find it really difficult not to look now and like try to.
Like,
what does that mean? What is that point? So
what's
like
the significance?
At the time, because you were how old?
17.
17. Just graduated high school.
Yeah.
So what was the meaning of the music and the?
I was so into music. Like, every part of my life, I had a song to relate to it. Like, I would just constantly have music going, and I just thought it was such a huge part of my life that I needed to put it on my body, I guess. Which I think everyone likes music to a certain degree, but I just had like a really strong connection, I guess, with music back then. I would go to concerts as much as possible and like always find new bands and stuff. So that's what that tattoo came from.
Okay. So then after, like when you got that tattoo, was it?
I was addicted.
Really? Like, so explain, because I don't have a tattoo. I put money down on a tattoo once, and then the guy that drew, like, I kind of had a consult and was like, here's what I want. He drew some pictures, came back, and I was like, yeah, I don't want that on my body forever. And he threw my money back at me and said, I don't have time to draw any pictures. So I never got a tattoo. I did put deposit down once, but what is it, like, what's the sensation? Like,
I don't love getting tattooed. In fact, every time I get tattooed, I'm like, why the crap am I doing this? Like, this hurts. This is not comfortable. But then I get done getting tattooed and I look at where the tattoo is, and I like the way I look better with ink on me than not on me.
So it's not the actual, like,
it's not
process.
the pain or process at all. It's the outcome.
Okay.
I definitely, maybe that's something that, like, is, I don't love the color of my skin. I've always disliked that. And so, like, I think somewhere I want to cover that up.
You have beautiful skin.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, I'm just, as a fellow,
pasty-ass person.
Just like, no, but I understand that sense, because I hated how I looked when I was younger. I had to, all my friends could go out and hang out in the sun, and I had to hide in the shade.
Same. And I hide in the shade even more now that I have tattoos.
Okay.
Just because sunlight fades them and everything. So I try to keep them as covered as possible in the sun so that they don't get ruined. But yeah. So
got your first tattoo, you became addicted to how it looked, not necessarily. Because I always heard that people got addicted to the process of it. And I was like, it's like a pain sensory. But so then, how many, because you went through, I don't know how many tattoos, and then it was not too long ago you decided to do your first modification.
Yeah.
And was that your hand?
Yeah, that was in my hand.
This is the thing. I'm learning so many new things from you because but I want the people that are watching and listening to hear, like, so what makes you decide, okay, I don't want to do body ink anymore. I want to take it to where I'm going to actually, I mean, I guess, because it technically is the next level, right?
Yeah. So in 2019, I got my first subdermal implant is what it's called. And what it is a silicone piece that's like underneath my skin.
Okay.
And I decided to do that because it's cool. Like, to me, it's cool, I guess. Yeah. It's just another way of showing something that I truly enjoy, which the implant in my hand is the Deathly Hallows from Harry Potter. And Harry Potter was such a big influence in my life when I was younger because it was a world to escape to. It was somewhere I could go and escape my childhood.
So did you have a rough childhood? Is that like...
Not rough in the way of like I wasn't abused or anything. Like my parents are amazing. They're incredible parents. And I think I got immersed in the world of Harry Potter when they got divorced because I was like trying to find a different, like something to distract me from it, because that was a very sad thing to go through as being like in the LDS church, divorce is frowned upon and you're always told you can't get divorced. And then all of a sudden I'm the product of divorce. Mm. And so like just finding a way to distract myself from that, I think, was what I turned to Harry Potter to. And that's just like, I don't know, that's weird, but like that's what happened. So and I loved Harry Potter so much that I wanted to like put it in my hand, I guess.
Okay.
So the Harry Potter implant was my first one. And then when I got my Harry Potter implant, so we went down to Arizona we always go down to Arizona to get our modification done because we go to Steve Hayworth, which is he's called the mod father in our world. He
Really?
Yeah, he pretty much started it all.
Because I was going to say, because that hasn't been around for, well, I mean, I guess, I don't know, do you know the history of like modification, like how it came about?
I don't know a bunch of the history, but like people have been modifying their bodies for so long. Like Indians stretch their lobes in certain ways so that they could hear differently, and they would put different like tunnels in their ears so that like the sound of like the animals they could hear and stuff. And so like that has been going on for generations. And obviously you see like pictures of like people from like Africa and stuff with like discs in their ears and their lips and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how long exactly like subdermal implants have been around. I know that the guy that we go to get our implants and work done by has been doing them since like the 90s. And he started just I think he was a piercer first, and then he worked in some sort of, I could be completely lying to you. So like,
it's okay. I don't know. And
yeah. So that we found him through another one of our friends that had gotten his tongue split by him. So that's how we met him. And then it's just kind of gone from there. So I got my Harry Potter implant, and then my husband Garrett got his tongue split, and it's just kind of gone from there.
So now, because I want to go, when did you and Garrett get married? Were
2014.
Had either of you started like?
We had both gotten tattoos, but we hadn't gotten any like modification done that's like farther from tattooing.
But it's something that you guys do. I mean, you do together. You're like, mm-hmm. I mean, you've gone through and done suspension together,
right?
Which, for those that don't know what suspension is, I didn't know either until Brochet had done it, and I was like, wow.
Yeah. So
crazy.
Suspension was something that was like not even on my radar. It was something that I was like, oh, fuck no, I'm never doing that. Like, and that was my reaction when I was first asked if I wanted to do it. I was like, what the fuck? Why would anyone want to do that? Who would, in their right mind, throw hooks through their back and be lifted off of the earth?
Because that's my reaction. Like
that was my reaction at first.
So then what, how did they convince you, like, you need to do this? Like, I could convince somebody to, like, take a lollipop if I really needed to. But to convince somebody to, like, do that, like, I don't know, that's...
So I was a hard one to convince because I don't like pain.
Yeah.
Like, that is not something that I enjoy at all. And so I was like, that's just going to hurt way too much. Like, no. Like, I don't have very many piercings because it makes me nauseous just thinking about it. And then, like, no, it's just not something that is, like, humanly possible in my mind. But the guy that that helps assist with our body modification, his name is Tommy.
Okay.
And he has become a very close friend of mine since doing all of this, but he is the one that sat down with me and he's like, well, why are you scared? Like, or like, tell me like your thought process. Like what is making you not want to do it? And I just like, why would I want to do that? And then he explained the process and like the mental side of it, like the mental break you have to go through to physically leave the earth from hooks.
So explain, like, how do you explain the mental break, like, as it was explained to you? Do you remember? Like,
I don't exactly remember how he explained it or what he said to like make me even like want to do it. I think I wanted to do it just to prove that I could do it. That was my first reasoning to do it. It's like, okay, like no one thinks I can do it. Like everyone thinks I'm going to chicken out. So I'm just going to do it because like I have something to prove in that way. And then the first time I did it, I got the hooks thrown. Or pierced. So thrown is just like a way of saying I got.
It's what the kids are saying today.
I got they're called Gilson hooks. And they got placed in my back and I'm laying on the piercing table. And the guy that's helping me to breathe through it is like telling me like just envision the pain of this like flowing through you and down through your toes and leaving. And so that's kind of what he said.
It's almost like a form of like hypnosis or like meditation in a sense, to where you're focused on everything else except for what's happening.
Yeah, kind of I guess. So I was laying on the table trying to get the pain to like just like diminish, I guess, and stand up, and you go hook up to like the pulley system that you hang from these hooks, and you have to work your way up, and obviously there's pain involved, so you just have to breathe through it. And I remember getting all the way to my toes. I was standing on my toes, like the very tippy toes of my Vans, and looking at the guy in the eyes that was helping me. Tommy was behind the scenes on the reeling part of the rig so that the slack is pulled. But anyway, the guy that was helping me, I was holding on to his arms and my tippy toes are like barely on the ground. And I remember saying, okay, how do I lift my feet up? Like, you can't even think how to lift your toes up off the ground when all of your weight is on the hooks in your back. And then when you do it, it's like the most euphoric feeling ever. And I don't know how to explain it at all. Like, it's just this feeling like...
It's like chills through the whole body?
Yeah, or and like your heart is racing and you've done it. Your feet are off the ground. And it's the craziest thing.
So did you feel like it was this epic... I mean, I don't want to use the term again, but like escape, because you know, talking about like a lot of this stuff was like you're escaping or getting rid of this or getting rid of that. Like, was this just kind of like a euphoric escape? I mean, in the same way that like I mean, somebody that's on like like a shroom or something, or like ecstasy.
No, it definitely.
And their reality is left, and now they're in this new.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be that way for some people. For me, it was just more like conquering that fear, and like I did it. Like I'm doing something that like less than like a tenth of the population does, or even less. You know, like how many people do we know that have like hung from hooks?
I mean, I only know you and your husband. But I mean, the pictures that you've showed, like you look so happy.
It is very happy.
Like,
you get like this this rush of endorphins, and like some people. Garrett, my husband, has skydived before, and he said it's like similar to that. How you like get just like this rush, like this crazy, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that, and just like conquering that fear for me was incredible. And that first time that I suspended, I didn't think that I was going to be able to do it for that long. I was like I just want to get my feet off the ground. That was my goal. And then
how long? What is a normal length to hang?
Me, it has been about 20 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, but some people, you know, their goal is to just get off the ground, and they've done that, and that's enough time for them. And for me, that first time I did like 20 minutes or so, and it's like being a kid again. Like after the pain goes away, it subsides, and it literally just feels like you're swinging. And so it's like being a kid. Like you just are just swinging around and spinning, and like it's just happy.
Wow. I mean, I understand that, like after doing it and having that, like hearing it explained like skydiving, because I have skydived before, I understand that feeling. Mm-hmm. It's terror, euphoria. Holy shit, what did I do?
Oh my God, I just did it.
Yeah, I just did that.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. I mean, I think it makes me wonder though, is it just the idea of facing a fear and doing something that you didn't think you could do? And therefore, when you do it, it's this sense of like, I did it. Like,
yeah, that's what it was for me. Everyone does suspension for a different reason, and everyone's reasons could vary, you know, like everyone does anything in their life for a different reason. But for me, it was just conquering that fear. And from that first time on, it's just been like chasing that endorphin rush, I guess, just being like, I want to see how far I could push it now. Like how much like crazier I could go, you know, like.
So then I guess in the world of modifications, because suspension is a part of modifications, there's what is it called when you put the silicone? It's the
subdermal implant.
Subdermal implant. What is considered the most extreme?
Oh, I don't know. Anyone's extreme is different. Like there's so many people that have modified themselves to look completely inhuman, you know? So there's not, like the world of modification just keeps going beyond the limits. Like that, like as people dream up more and more, you could do anything.
Yeah. It's all personal.
It's all personal. It's what you want to be.
So do you have like future plans? Like what's the next? Because I know with suspension, like you've done that twice, 3 times.
3 times. So we're suspending again in April, but my next modification that I want to do is ear pointing. So like elf ears, basically.
Okay.
So that's my next plan.
That's what your husband did?
He cropped his ears. So he, you know, like how you cut a dog's ears so that they're pointy. Mm-hmm. He basically did that to his ears so that they're pointy.
Dude, one of the funniest things I've ever heard was the story that he told me when he got them done. It was during COVID. And he went to RC Willey or like the furniture store or something.
We went to RC Willey to get a washer and dryer.
And some old man like came up to him and was like, "Son,
what happened? And he had made the comment about like, oh, I just got the vaccine or something.
Yeah, he said I just got the COVID vaccine and it made my ears go necrotic. And
But
I was like, shut up, that's how rumors are started.
But he never corrected the guy.
I don't remember if he corrected him or not.
I feel like there's some old man walking around out there now that's
don't
like,
do the vaccine, it'll make your ears fall off.
Your ears will fall out. I saw a guy. But it's so funny. But like, when he told that story and he was just so witty and just so quick.
Yeah, that's how he is
like,
with everything.
But so he got cropped, you want pointed. So that just fold, does it like fold the ear out? Like what's the difference?
It just like pulls it up. Like you take a portion out so that your ear, so you take a pizza section out
of your ear.
And then sew it together.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. And that's what you want to do next?
That's what I want to do next. And then after that, this one is a little bit weird, but I want to remove my belly button so that eventually when I get tattooed on my front, I have a smooth like surface and there's not a weird belly button divot.
See, but that, I feel like that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's like, again, going with the art side of it, it's like, I like how I look. I like, if somebody that was painting a canvas had a big hole in the middle of the canvas, they'd be like, well, it doesn't work.
It draws your eye to that. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah.
So I understand that one. I don't think that's weird.
Yeah, that will be eventually.
I don't think it's something that I personally would do, but again, it's all relative to who's doing it too.
Right.
Hey everyone, Mike here. I just wanted to interrupt this episode and say thank you for listening. And please remember to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. We need your support to keep these episodes coming, so spread the word. And now back to the conversation.
So then, because you and Garrett have, how old's Nora? You had a kid.
She's 1.
She's 1 now. So what's your take on kids getting tattoos, getting piercings, getting modifications?
I don't think that children should get tattooed at all. Like in fact, since I've been thinking about more, since I've had a child, I'm like, I don't think people should make the decision to get a tattoo until their frontal lobe is fully developed. Because you end up covering them, or a lot of people end up regretting their tattoos that they get when they are younger, and some people don't. I mean, again, everyone is different, but we have made the decision with our daughter that we're not even going to get her ears pierced until she asks for it. And then she's been with us at suspension, and some people have asked us if we're going to let her suspend. And again, that's a decision that she needs to make on her own, and not until she's an adult. Like, she's not going to suspend until, like, it's a very mental thing. And like, when you're growing and your brain is developing, like, I just don't think you need to go through something like that, even if you think it's cool or.
Well, but I mean, we've all heard stories about people that get tattoos or something done in high school. I mean, my brother-in-law is one of them. He got a big, across his back, Long Beach tattoo. It just says Long Beach because he saw it on the inside of Warren G's regulator. And he got that tattooed on his back. And I mean, he doesn't care, but it's one that I don't think that he's the happiest that he got that tattoo.
I mean, like, at the end of the day, he got that tattoo and he has a story of it, and it's part of his life story. And so it's like, if she turns 18 and she decides that she wants to get a tattoo, I'm not going to stop her, but I'm not going to take her to get a tattoo at like 15 or 16. Like, I don't think that we should stop our children from being who they want to be, but I do think that we should help them become the best versions of themselves.
That's perfectly said. I think it would be very difficult to have a child that's like, I'm 12, I know what I want, and let them do something that is permanent, because we all know at 12, you're not that smart.
Yeah.
At 14, you're probably
Still
even
not that
dumber.
smart.
But like, yeah, even at 18 to 21, when does your frontal lobe completely develop? 25?
Yeah, 24,
24?
26, somewhere in your mid 20s. But even now that I have a child, I think I'm trying to make better decisions of what I do to my body based on like how it will impact her life. Like I don't want to go into her elementary class and have all of her classmates be scared of me, you know?
Yeah.
And so I've thought about that a lot. Making better decisions.
Well, but I don't think they're bad decisions. Like I truly think that, like, again, it's all perspective. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing that if nothing else, people that are listening or watching this, I hope people understand, like, just because you see somebody and they look different than what you consider normal, don't just judge them based on that.
Yeah.
Give them a chance. Hear their story, because it's amazing. Like, there's some of the most amazing people in the world out there.
Yeah, some of the best people I know are covered in tattoos from head to toe. Mm-hmm. Some of the most genuine, kind people have their faces covered in tattoos. And, like, the more extreme than Garrett and I, like, my friend Nash has, like, horns and covered in tattoos. And he's one of the nicest people that I know.
Well, and see, he was another one. Like, the first time he walked into the salon, it was a brief second that I was like, well, and then I was like, I don't know him. Like, I don't know his story. And I've talked to him a few times, just briefly, but you can tell he's the nicest guy. He's very shy, very quiet, but I asked him once about it, like, because he had, I don't know what it's called. Scarification. So he had lasered or cut out a piece of skin across his face to have a permanent scar. He was so nice about it, like telling me the process, showing me like what it did, and it looks so cool.
Yeah. I think in being a modified person and having friends that are tattooed and modified, I would rather someone come up to me and ask about it than just stare and gawk.
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna ask. So, like, if you could tell people that were like me on the first go around, like, you would encourage them, if you have a question about something that's on my body, come ask me about it?
Yeah, 100%. Like, ask someone rather than just make judgments upon them. Like, if you're interested in something that's on their body, like, don't just think automatically that person is bad because they have a different body than you. Like, come up to them and be like, please teach me or tell me what is going on.
Yeah.
Like, tell me what and why.
Do you feel like, because I know, like, you and your husband are very good at that, do you feel like the majority of people that you know that have modified or have done, I mean, tattoos, like, maybe not so much like crazy. Like, I think tattoos now are starting to become more accepted, more
right.
Where, when we were kids, it was like, you only saw it on people that were in the Navy or people that were in the Army or whatever. Do you feel like the modification groups that you have become friends with, they feel the same way?
I do. I know that it makes, like, I like talking about my modifications and, like, having people interested in it because it's part of me. It's a big part of me, and I like to tell people about it. And I know that a lot of my friends like to tell people about their modifications also. It's part of who you are, and anyone wants to talk about themselves,
Yeah.
And so I think that, I mean, everyone is different. Some people probably don't want to talk about it, but for me and a lot of my friends, I think it is nice to, like, talk to people about it, like, explain the process so that people aren't scared or confused.
Yeah. Well, but I also think, like, again, being raised LDS, we were told our whole lives that it was tattoos bad. Like, and so I think there's a lot of like growing up that has to happen when you have been taught your whole life that happens. And I think talking about it is one of the best ways to do it. So
yeah, I think one of the funniest things I heard was someone that was modified and tattooed. I can't remember who said it, but someone said, "I'm just choosing to decorate my temple differently than you, so don't judge me for my decorations."
okay,
So,
I like that. But it's not like, I remember when you were pregnant, you were talking about how people would just come up and touch your belly.
yeah,
You don't just go up and touch modifications.
no,
It's like, oh,
no.
you have horns. Touch. No, don't do that.
Yeah, that could hurt.
Ask.
Yeah, definitely ask before you touch anyone, whether you're touching a modified person or a regular plain skinned person. You should definitely ask before you touch them, but I don't think it hurts to ask.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
So I guess, you know, even though your look is, and I hate using the term normal because I don't think there is a normal, but like what the world would perceive as a normal you is different. How did you become, like, was it just how you were raised, where your kindness and your, like, where does that aspect of you come from?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be how I was raised. It used to bother me when people would look at me funny or just like the stares. And I have learned to like block it out, I guess, and let it not bother me. I don't know.
Because like I mean, I honestly, sometimes when people would if people would just stare at me, I think I would get really frustrated.
Yeah, I did.
And I'd be like, what's your problem? Like,
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother, like, I mean, at least I've never seen it be a bothersome thing. And like,
Yeah.
we were talking, like, you'd gone to Disneyland not too long ago. And the people that you were with had noticed, they're like, wow, everywhere we go, people are staring at you. Like, how does that not?
So.
And you're just nice.
Yeah,
like,
I don't.
Hi.
I don't notice it as much anymore, and in fact, I didn't notice it until they had pointed it out. You know, and it's just part of being modified. People look at you, and so just accepting that you are different from the quote unquote normal.
Yeah.
You just have to accept it. And if it's going to bother you that people look at you, then like maybe you should choose to do something different.
That's crazy. Well, I think you do a really good job at treating everyone with kindness.
Thanks. I try to be as kind as possible to everyone because we don't know what people are going through.
Yeah.
And I think just kindness in general will change a person's day. And with people staring and like pointing or just not knowing how to react to a modified person, I think that can be something that we all can, like our community can like help enlighten people and be like, look, like we're not different in our insides, you know, like we might look different on the outside, but we're all still human and we all still feel. And yeah.
So then where did you get into, like, I mean, obviously you like the art on your body.
Yeah.
And hair is an artistic escape in a sense. Is that what got you into doing hair? Like, where was your entry into the hair world? Like, what was that?
Always wanted to do hair from a very young age. I don't remember. Well, I did at one point want to be an astronaut, but then that space shuttle crashed, and then I didn't want to be an astronaut anymore.
Nah, I'm good.
But there's a picture somewhere that my mom has of me during Christmas time, and she got me a little hairdresser set. It was fake, but I was doing my uncle's hair, and I think I was like 6 or something, and I just have always wanted to do hair. But I remember specifically, I don't know what class it was in school, but something talking about jobs, and someone said, hairdressers will always have a place in the world and a money to make because everyone needs their hair done. And I think that was when I decided for sure I wanted to be a hairdresser, because I always wanted to have some sort of financial stability. And yeah, I came from a very poor family, and to me, having stability in a job that is always needed was very important.
Yeah. That's honestly, I had the same. My dad lost his job a couple of times. I thought, I need to have something that I can do anytime, anywhere, even if the zombie apocalypse comes. I can stand out on a corner and barter for a haircut, like if I need to.
Yeah.
And if the zombie apocalypse comes, I can use my scissors as a weapon.
Yeah.
So I was good on both fronts.
Mike out there stabbing zombies in the
Too.
eye with his...
Telling you, man.
It also was very enticing to be a hairdresser in the way that I could look how I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to hide my hair color, like I always have had bright hair, and then I didn't have to hide my tattoos. Like, it's not like you're professional in a sense, but like I could look how I want and not have like a boss that's like, you can't look this way.
Yeah. Which is that's exactly how it used to be. It was like, oh, you want to be on Wall Street? You can't have tattoos. Oh, you want to do this? You can't. I think now the tech world has kind of flipped things upside down. It's gotten a little more casual, but hair is definitely like, the professionalism isn't necessarily how you look. Mm-hmm. It's how you treat the customer. It's how you treat the person that you're dealing with, whether it's coworker, whatever. Like, if I happen to be wearing black t-shirt, black pants, doesn't matter if I'm in a suit or whatever. It's look the part. Mm-hmm. But hair is one of those things. I think it's really breaking down some barriers and some boundaries, as far as like, you can still be you, be professional, and make a good living. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's see. What else do we want to know about Brochet? Mm-hmm. What is your? Because we're getting close. I don't want to get too deep into a topic. I guess we can keep going if we need to, but is there anything modification-wise that you're absolutely against?
No. Like, for my own body, I have like things that I wouldn't do, but I don't think in the modification world that there's like, everyone wants a different outcome with their body. I don't think that people should be removing fingers and their nose and stuff. Like, that's like impeding your life, like making it your life harder just to get a look. Doesn't seem like it's the brightest idea to me. But I think that in the modification world and like people modifying their body, it's just going to make them happy with who they are.
Well, but like, your husband talked to me about one that he wanted to do, and I was like, don't do that. Like, the black out your eyes.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Like, I'm just like, that just seems way too risky. I mean, you're messing with your eyesight at that point, and it's...
I don't think that's smart to do.
Like, there's just something, like, I wouldn't be a candidate for suspension. I understand it. I understand the euphoria sensation of... Mm-hmm. But there's not anything that's... Yeah, I'm not going to go down that road,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't go so far as to like make my life harder with a modification in any way.
Yeah.
But if someone wanted a modification because that's how they truly feel their life would be better, then that's their choice.
Okay. And then, yeah, so I guess from here, your next step, get your belly button taken off, and then go
Get
from
more
there.
tattoos. Yeah, that's.
Do you have what's like when you do cover your front? Do you have a plan already of what you want to have on there?
Nothing particular. I just want to add more color to my body now because somehow both of my arms ended up in black and gray, which I love them and I love the way they're turning out. But now I'm like a black and gray and pale human, and now I need some color. So I'm hoping to add color to my body.
Can't you color like?
I mean, you could.
Like, because
but
you've got the whole Harry Potter crew on one. Like, can't you like add color to them? Like, would you ever want to, or no? You like the
that
black and
was
gray?
not the plan with that one. So we'll keep that one black and gray. But you could, I mean, if I decided to add color, could be done. It's just not in the plan for that one.
But you've used the same tattoo artist.
Not for all of my tattoos, no. For my Harry Potter tattoo, yeah, that's been the same artist.
Okay. But is that a thing now? Like, have you found a guy that you're like this, or a girl that this is the one you're going to use for the rest of your piece?
Not for my whole body. Like, I will definitely find, because like anyone that does hair, a tattoo artist specializes in a specific style or specific genre. And so, like, you have to find the person that best fits that. And
Is there a tattoo artist that if you could choose them to finish, like, that you would...
my whole body,
Yeah.
yeah, I would, but
Dude.
I don't have all the money in the world. If I could get tattooed my whole body by one person, it would be the guy that's done my Harry Potter sleeve.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's incredible.
Is this the one he was just on Ink Masters?
Yeah, he was
Is
the
this-
judge on Ink Master.
What was his name? Give him a shout out. Maybe he'll like...
DJ Tamby. Yeah, he's incredible. He's one of the kindest humans I've ever met, and he is super talented. And I would love to get more tattoos by him. I just, don't have all the money in the world, and then B, I hate going to Vegas. Vegas is not my scene at all, and
Dude, I feel like Vegas is probably the place that the most regrettable tattoos have come from.
oh, I'm sure there's some doozies
Have you ever
out
walked
of
down
Vegas.
the strip on like at late at night and seen people legitimately passed out
Yeah.
in tattoo chairs, and their friends
Oh,
are
it's
like,
such a bad
"Ah."
idea.
So bad. Don't ever go to Vegas and get a tattoo.
Yeah.
Unless it's off the strip, you're not down there for a party weekend.
Yeah, if it's planned, it's a different
Yeah.
thing. But if you go to Vegas and just go in on a whim to get a tattoo, I don't think it's a good idea. But yeah, I would get my whole body tattooed by him if I could.
So, I mean, this is going to sound, but what, because again, I put a deposit down on a tattoo 20 years ago. What is a tattoo? Like, if you're going to get your whole arm done, what do you think? Like, what are you looking at cost-wise to do, like, for your whole body? I feel like that would
Thousands
just
and
be like
thousands
a
of
Picasso.
dollars,
Like,
yeah.
thousands and thousands.
Well, everyone charges differently because everyone has different, I don't know. Everyone charges a different amount based on their experience and stuff, and so it depends on the person. But for reference, my arm, my Harry Potter sleeve, I'm in $10,000.
How much?
$10,000.
Really?
Yeah, on my Harry Potter sleeve, which is a lot of money, but then I'm walking around with a piece of fantastic art
Yeah.
for the rest of my life. you know, and so you have to remember that you get a piece of artwork out of that. And I imagine I'll be in a couple thousand and thousands more dollars to cover the rest of my body.
Yeah. But I mean, still, it's, again, if it's something that brings you joy, it's worth the money.
It's priceless if it's making you happy.
100%.
If it makes you feel like your true self to get a tattoo, then just do it.
I mean, I've probably spent way more on Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh, your amount of Diet Dr. Pepper intake.
I'm not good. And that brings me joy. So
there you go.
You'll have something beautiful on your body. I'll have like ulcers or something
and
like
lots
that.
of styrofoam cups.
Yeah. But, oh man. Well, thank you for sharing. Like, honestly, I know this, you're probably like, that was not much to say, but I think a lot of people, I mean, and this is kind of my big hope for this type of thing, is it, people will hear somebody like you tell this story, and it will give them, even if it's just that quick, non-judgmental view of somebody that has tattoos, piercings, modification, any of that stuff, if people will hear this and think, oh, I am judging somebody without even getting to know them. Because as soon as you get to know some of these people, I mean, you said it, and I'm going to say it about you again, nicest people in the world. Like, you just have to give people a chance. And just because they don't look like you look doesn't make them any worse, bad, good, whatever.
Right.
It's just them. That's what they prefer. That's how they like to look. That's how they like to feel. And they feel good about themselves. So why are we sitting outside saying, you don't look the right part? Like,
right.
No, who cares? Who cares what the right part is?
Yeah.
Be the best version of yourself. And I hope I appreciate you coming and sharing that, because I think a lot of people need to hear it.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's nice to hear it from somebody that says, yes, if you look at a tattoo and you find yourself staring, go ask about it.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to be like, screw you, like, because people like talking about themselves.
People love talking about themselves. I'm glad I could have this conversation with you.
Well, other than that, is there anything that you would like to say before we go? Any shout outs or like hoorays or whatever that, you know?
Not necessarily. Yeah.
If you're in American Fork, Utah, go see Brochet. She's an amazing hairdresser at Relic Salon. But
yeah, I mean, thank you.
you're welcome.
Glad that I got to be here today.
Thank you. I hope your haircut's okay.
It looks fantastic. I haven't had a haircut in so long, and so it
thanks
feels
for
great.
letting me use the razor. That was always
Yeah.
fun. I don't get to do that very often, so.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well,